Good morning, Crossroads students. Ryan here, and we are going to jump right into the scripture for today. I'm really excited for this devotional. I think it's going to be a blessing to you guys. It was a blessing to me as I prepared for it. There's this verse in the Gospel of Luke, and Luke, the writer of Luke, makes this observation about Jesus. And this is a verse, actually it's two verses that are very commonly known, and you've probably heard them before. Luke 15, verses 1 through 2 says this. They say, "Now the tax collectors and sinners were all drawing near to him. And the Pharisees and the scribes grumbled, saying, 'This man receives sinners and eats with them.'" Now, many of you have heard that verse before, and usually when it's taught on, we talk about how Jesus ate with sinners. Jesus spent time with and sat with and reached out to people who weren't necessarily like him. And while that's true, there's a question that popped into my head as I was looking at this verse. And the question is, why were these people so attracted to Jesus? What made these people want to sit down with Jesus in the first place? The Bible calls them sinners, not good people. And for some reason, they want to sit down with Jesus, the most holy, most perfect, most sinless human to ever walk on this earth. Why is that? And then in the back of my mind, I thought, well, whatever Jesus had, I want some of that. I want to be more like that. Now, I understand theologically we can't be exactly like Jesus. Jesus was 100% God, 100% man, perfect, holy, blameless in every single way. But I do think there are some characteristics and some attributes that we can learn from the life of Jesus and apply to our own lives. And one of the greatest attributes, one of the greatest characteristics that I think made people so attracted to Jesus is something that is found in John chapter 1. John chapter 1, verse 14 says that Jesus was full of grace and truth. Did you get that? Jesus is full of grace and truth. This is why people were so attracted to Jesus. He spoke truth. He didn't hold back on the reality of God and the seriousness of sin, but in the same way, he was full of grace. He communicated truth and shared truth in a very gracious manner. And man, that is something that I know I struggle with a lot. I'll be real honest and say that sometimes I tend to lean too much on the truth side of things. There's somebody in my life that's very important to me. Her name is Allie, and she tells me all the time, she says, "Ryan, it's not what you said, it's how you said it." That is something that I struggle with so much. I have good things to say and to share, but sometimes I just struggle with saying it in a gracious manner. And then there's some people maybe that are listening to this video, and you're on the opposite side of the spectrum. You give a lot of grace. You give a lot of forgiveness. You give people a lot of room for error and mercy. And you have a hard time standing up for what you believe in. You have a hard time standing for the truth. What made these people so attracted to Jesus? He had this balance of grace and truth. He was full of grace and truth. What if the same thing could be said about us? What if we as Christians were people that struck that balance? What if we were people that the world was attracted to, that the unbelieving world wanted to spend time with? Well, it takes this balance between grace and truth. So no matter where you are on the spectrum today, whether you lean really heavy on the truth side like me, and you have a really easy time telling people how it is and sharing the truth, but maybe you have a hard time saying it in a nice way, or if you're on the other side of the spectrum and you're really gracious, you're really forgiving, you're really understanding, but you have a hard time standing up for what's right, no matter what side of the spectrum you're on, ask God today to help you to take some steps. If you are overly truthful, ask God to give you some grace. If you are extra gracious, ask God to give you the boldness to stand up for the truth and what you believe in. Let us be a people group that the unbelieving world is attracted to. And we could take a step in doing that by learning this lesson from Jesus and applying it to our lives.